Hi, I'm Andy Carrero, and today we're going to take a look at Act 4, Scenes 5, 6, and 7 in Hamlet. So let's get started. In Act 4, Scene 5, we have the continued fallout from Polonius's murder. Hamlet's murder of Polonius has driven Ophelia absolutely mad and out of her mind. It's also stirred up Laertes and his followers to take revenge. At the beginning of the scene, Ophelia appears singing and making allusions which seem to make absolutely no sense, but which in fact do. They tell her story. Not yet aware of his sister's madness, Laertes storms into the palace, demanding vengeance on Claudius, whom he really thinks is responsible for Polonius's murder. The king no sooner calms Laertes than Ophelia re-enters, and Laertes is overwhelmed with grief over her madness. Claudius leads him away and to talk in private about the circumstances of his father's death. The king hints that he will actually help Laertes avenge his father's death. In Scene 6, sailors have brought letters from Hamlet to Horatio and the king. From the letter to Horatio, we learn that Hamlet has escaped from the ship bound for England and has returned to Denmark. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, on the other hand, have continued on the voyage to England. Scene 7 introduces a strong counterplot against Hamlet. It begins with Claudius convincing Laertes that Hamlet was the one responsible for Polonius's murder. The letter from Hamlet is then delivered, announcing his return to Denmark. Claudius manipulates Laertes into a plan that he will have him and Hamlet dueling in a match. Laertes adds to the plan by offering to put a point and deadly poison on the end of the sword. Claudius suggests also a poisoned cup of wine for Hamlet if their plan fails. The conversation is then interrupted by Gertrude, who announces that Ophelia has died. In these past few scenes, we have really seen the devastation that Polonius's murder has had on both Ophelia and Laertes. In Scene 5, we get this interesting relationship between Gertrude and Ophelia surfacing. Now, if you recall, Ophelia was always told by Polonius and by her brother Laertes that, well, she really couldn't be with Hamlet because Hamlet was nobility and she wasn't. But we see a concern for Ophelia's well-being with Gertrude, which kind of starts to suggest that perhaps Gertrude would have really welcomed Ophelia as a daughter-in-law, or at least that the relationship she was under the impression of was a lot better than what Polonius and Laertes had kind of made it out to be. Now, in that scene where Ophelia starts to show her madness, we also have a demonstration of what true madness is, almost to balance out what Hamlet's acted madness is, in contrast to Ophelia's madness. In Scene 6, we have this short little scene where Horatio gets news from Hamlet that he's on his way back to Denmark after having escaped his voyage to England. As for Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, they're on their way back to England. So, in this letter, Hamlet describes how he was able to essentially disembark his ship for another ship, which seemed to pursue them as pirates, where he was kind of taken captive, and in return for his freedom, decided to sail along with him for a little while, and then they would return him to Denmark. This serves a little bit of a purpose here. We get to see that Hamlet is truly a bit of a heroic soul, and he's able to hold his own in a battle and in a fight and find his way out to safety. So we don't have this vision of Hamlet here in this scene as a teenager or as an individual that is, "Oh, woe is me. Oh, my father's dead. What do I do? I can't decide what to do." We have a pretty decisive Hamlet in his letters. In scene 7, Claudius and Laertes are plotting Hamlet's demise. Claudius suggests to Laertes that he would have Laertes and Hamlet, both fans of fencing, fight each other. But Laertes would have a pointed sword in which he would kill Hamlet with. Laertes, excited by the opportunity to avenge his father's death, well, he suggests that he'll poison the tip of the sword so that if he does so much as just nick him, even if he doesn't get a pointed kill, the poison would do its work and he would die. Claudius also suggests that he would also have a poisoned cup of wine along his side, and that if, let's say, Laertes was unable to strike at Hamlet and, well, make him bleed, as it were, that he would be able to toast Hamlet and give Hamlet wine that would poison him and kill him. Now, it's important to note here that although Claudius, along with Laertes, is plotting this scheme to have Hamlet killed, Claudius is well aware of Hamlet's ability to fight with a sword, and really doesn't have 100% confidence in Laertes' ability to do the deed, hence the reason why he's suggesting the poison with the goblet of wine. After having planned Hamlet's final fight with Laertes, where hopefully, according to their plan, he'll meet his end, Gertrude comes in and tells Laertes about his sister's untimely demise. It's quite a blow to Laertes. He's now lost his father and now his sister. That's it for these 3 scenes. Thanks very much, and we'll catch you later.